Asterisk, they left it behind, a vault of impossible knowledge, sealed, buried, and forgotten on a primitive blue world. 30,000 years later, they returned. The Zephyrians expected ruins, they expected dust and silence. What they found was Earth, a world that had cracked the code, a species that had turned their ancient relic into the foundation of a new reality. Humans had evolved, not just in strength, but in understanding. They didn't just study the vault, they surpassed it. Now, the creators face their greatest surprise. The students have become the architects of the future. This isn't a mission of recovery, it's the dawn of a new alliance, and the stars are waiting. Asterisk, the arrival of the morning sun cast long shadows across the lunar observatory when the impossible happened. Dr. Amanda Foster was reviewing stellar data when every screen in the facility suddenly blazed with warnings. Massive energy signatures had appeared at the edge of the solar system, materializing from empty space like ghosts becoming solid. "This can't be right," Amanda whispered, her fingers dancing across the holographic displays. The readings showed 17 colossal vessels, each one nearly the size of Manhattan, arranged in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed with an otherworldly blue-silver material that seemed to bend light around them. Within minutes, emergency protocols activated across Earth's defense network. The Global Defense Council convened in the underground command center beneath Geneva, where Director Sarah Chun stood before a wall of screens showing the alien fleet. Her calm demeanor masked the racing thoughts in her mind. This was the moment humanity had prepared for, but hoped would never come. "Analysis report," Sarah commanded, her voice echoing through the chamber. Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison stepped forward, his tablet displaying the latest sensor data. "Ma'am, the vessels appeared simultaneously using technology we can't identify. No warp signatures, no gravitational distortions. They simply materialized." The largest screen flickered to life, showing a being that made everyone in the room hold their breath. The creature stood nearly 8 feet tall, with elongated limbs and skin that shifted between deep purple and silver. Its eyes were large and multifaceted, like liquid crystals that held the light of distant stars. "People of Earth," the being spoke in a voice that resonated with harmonic frequencies. "I am Commander Kalen of the Zephyrian Collective. We have returned to reclaim what was lost long ago." The message Sarah stepped forward, activating the communication array. "Commander Kalen, this is Director Sarah Chun of Earth's Global Defense Council. We welcome you to our system. What exactly have you lost?" Kalen's crystalline eyes seemed to focus directly on her through the screen. 30,000 of your years ago, our ancestors placed a quantum vault on your world. It contains knowledge that could reshape the fabric of reality itself. We have come to retrieve it." A murmur ran through the command center. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Earth's leading xenoarchaeologist, felt her heart skip. She had spent decades studying the crystal monolith discovered in the Amazon rainforest, a perfect geometric structure that defied all known material science. "Commander," Sarah continued, "we may know of what you speak. However, much has changed in 30,000 years. Perhaps we should meet in person to discuss this matter properly." Kalen's expression shifted, showing what might have been surprise. "You wish to negotiate? Most primitive species would either flee or attack." "We are no longer primitive," Sarah replied with quiet confidence. "We'll send a diplomatic vessel to meet with you. I think you'll find this conversation more interesting than you expect." The encounter 6 hours later, the Earth ship Harmony approached the Zephyrian flagship. Captain Elena Rodriguez guided her vessel with practiced skill, noting how the alien ship's design seemed to flow like liquid metal frozen in time. The docking was surprisingly smooth, as if the two technologies recognized each other. Elena led the diplomatic team through corridors that hummed with barely contained energy. The walls seemed alive, shifting patterns of light dancing across surfaces that felt warm to the touch. When they reached the main chamber, Commander Kalen waited with several other Zephyrians, each one unique in their crystalline beauty. "Your ship," Kalen observed, "uses quantum resonance drives." Elena smiled. "Among other things, we've learned quite a bit since you were last here. The meeting chamber was a marvel of architecture with no visible floor or ceiling, just platforms suspended in space that somehow supported their weight. Kalen gestured for the humans to sit on structures that formed from the floor itself. Tell us about this vault. Elena began her diplomatic training taking over. What makes it so important? Kalen's form shimmered slightly. A sign of what the humans would learn was deep emotion. The quantum vault contains the fundamental equations of reality manipulation. With it, matter can be reshaped at the molecular level, space can be folded, and time itself can be influenced. Dr. Marcus Webb, the expedition's physicist, leaned forward. You're talking about quantum field manipulation on a macro scale. That's theoretically possible, but the energy requirements would be astronomical. Unless you understand the harmonic resonance of quantum foam, Kalen replied, then paused. How do you know of such things? Marcus exchanged glances with his team. We've been studying your vault for about 200 years. We call it the crystal monolith. The revelation, the silence that followed was profound. Kalen's crystalline eyes darkened to deep purple, and the other Zephyrians began communicating in rapid harmonic bursts that the human translators couldn't follow. Impossible, Kalen finally said. The vault is quantum-locked. Only Zephyrian consciousness can access its secrets. Dr. Webb activated a holographic display from his portable unit. The image showed the crystal monolith in its underground chamber, surrounded by sophisticated research equipment. But more shocking were the secondary images. Human-built devices that clearly incorporated quantum manipulation technology. We couldn't access it directly, Webb explained, but we could study its energy patterns, its quantum signatures. We learned to replicate some of its effects through our own methods. Elena stood and walked to the chamber's viewing portal, where Earth hung like a blue jewel against the star field. Commander, what you're seeing is the result of 30,000 years of human curiosity and determination. We found your vault, and it inspired us to reach for the stars. She turned back to face the aliens. We've colonized Mars, established mining operations in the asteroid belt, and sent exploration vessels to nearby star systems. We've made contact with 3 other species and learned from each of them. Kalen's form began to shift colors rapidly, cycling through hues that had no names in human language. This is unprecedented. In our records, species that find Zephyrian technology either destroy themselves trying to use it or worship it as magic. We did neither, Elena replied. We studied it, learned from it, and built upon it. The quantum vault didn't just give us technology. It gave us questions, and we've spent centuries finding answers. The challenge, the mood in the chamber shifted as another Zephyrian, taller and more angular than Kalen, stepped forward. I am Subcommander THYSS. This changes nothing. The vault belongs to the Zephyrian Collective. It must be returned. Elena felt the tension rise, but kept her voice calm. Subcommander, with respect, the vault has been on Earth for longer than recorded human history. It's become part of our civilization's foundation. Your civilization exists because of our technology, THYSS responded, his harmonic voice taking on harsh overtones. Without the vault, you would still be primitive creatures. Dr. Webb stepped forward, his scientific mind racing. Actually, that's not entirely accurate. We've traced the quantum signatures, and while the vault was certainly influential, human technological development accelerated in multiple areas simultaneously. The vault was a catalyst, not a crutch. Kalen moved between THYSS and the humans, a gesture that seemed to calm the situation. Perhaps we should examine the vault together. See what you have truly learned. Elena nodded. We'd welcome that. But I should warn you, what you'll find might surprise you. The preparation as the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, they could hear the Zephyrians engaged in intense harmonic discussions. The translator systems could only catch fragments, but the tones suggested deep disagreement among the aliens. They're not unified on this, Captain Rodriguez observed quietly to her team. Some of them seemed genuinely curious about what we've accomplished. Dr. Webb was studying readings from his portable scanner. Elena, the energy patterns from their ship are incredibly sophisticated, but they're also old, like really old. I'm not sure they've made significant technological advances in millennia. Elena considered this as she watched the Zephyrian homeworld through the chamber's transparent walls. The planet was beautiful but seemed static, as if frozen in time. Maybe that's why they're here. Not just for the vault, but because they've heard rumors of what we've done with it. When Commander Kalen approached them again, his crystalline features showed something that might have been uncertainty. We will accompany you to Earth. But understand, the collective has invested much in this mission. We cannot simply leave empty-handed. We understand, Elena replied, but we can't simply give up something that's been integral to our civilization for centuries. Perhaps there's a third option we haven't considered yet. Kalen's eyes brightened with what the humans were learning to recognize as hope. What do you mean? Elena smiled. Come to Earth, Commander. See what we've built. See what we've learned. Then let's discuss how both our civilizations can benefit from what we've discovered together. The journey home, the combined fleet's journey to Earth, took 3 days, during which both species studied each other with growing fascination. The Zephyrians were amazed by human adaptability and innovation, while the humans marveled at the aliens' mastery of quantum consciousness. Dr. Webb spent hours in discussion with Zephyrian scientists, learning about their harmonic mathematics and sharing human approaches to quantum field theory. The exchange was so productive that both sides began to see possibilities neither had imagined. As Earth grew larger in the viewports, Elena stood beside Commander Kalen, both of them watching the approach to humanity's home world. The blue planet was surrounded by orbital stations, space elevators, and a network of satellites that pulsed with quantum energy. Your species has been busy, Kalen observed. We don't like to sit still, Elena replied. Commander, when you see what we've built from the inspiration of your vault, I think you'll understand why we can't simply give it up. But I also think you'll see why we'd be honored to share what we've learned. Kalen's form shifted to a warm golden hue. Perhaps this mission will end differently than any of us expected. As the fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, heading toward the Amazon facility where the quantum vault waited, both species prepared for a meeting that would change the course of galactic history. The age of isolation was ending, and the age of cooperation was about to begin. Part 2. The discovery the quantum vault revealed the Amazon research facility stretched across several acres of carefully preserved rainforest, its buildings designed to blend seamlessly with the natural environment. As the mixed fleet of human and Zephyrian vessels landed on the facility's expanded landing platforms, Dr. Marcus Webb felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. For 2 centuries, the crystal monolith had been humanity's greatest mystery and greatest inspiration. Now its creators had returned to reclaim it. Commander Kalen emerged from his transport with a grace that seemed to defy gravity. His crystalline form reflected the dappled sunlight filtering through the forest canopy, creating patterns of light that danced across his skin. Behind him, a team of Zephyrian scientists moved with similar fluid motion, their multifaceted eyes taking in every detail of the human facility. The quantum resonance is stronger here, observed Zephyrian scientist Veltar, her harmonic voice carrying notes of wonder. Much stronger than it should be after so long. Dr. Webb led the group along a path that wound through the research complex. That's because we've been maintaining it, he explained. Not just preserving it, but actively studying its quantum field interactions. We've learned to enhance and stabilize the resonance patterns. They passed laboratories where human scientists worked alongside holographic displays, showing impossible geometries and equations that seemed to twist through dimensions. The Zephyrians paused at each window, their expressions cycling through colors that indicated deep concentration. Your mathematics, Kalen said softly, they're not entirely human, are they? Webb smiled. We've had help. 3 other species have contributed to our understanding over the past century. The Altarians gave us dimensional calculus, the Helix taught us quantum harmonics, and the Void Dancers showed us how to manipulate space-time at the Planck scale. Subcommander THYSS, who had remained skeptical throughout the journey, stepped forward with sharp, angular movements. You claim to have made contact with other species? The Helix and Void Dancers are myths, legends from the old stories. They're very real, Webb replied, activating a communication device. Arya, please connect us to the Helix station. A shimmering portal of light opened in the air, and through it stepped a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell. The Helix entity spoke in mathematical harmonics that the human translators rendered as a warm, welcoming voice. Greetings, friends of Earth. We see you have visitors from the ancient songs. Welcome, children of the Quantum Vault. The effect on the Zephyrians was immediate and profound. Their forms blazed with colors that had no human names, and their harmonic communications became a symphony of shock and recognition. Impossible, THYSS whispered. The Helix vanished from our space millennia ago. We didn't vanish, the entity replied gently. We evolved beyond the need for fixed space. Humanity showed us that growth and change are not things to fear, but to embrace. The monolith chamber, the path, led to a massive underground chamber carved from living rock. At its center stood the crystal monolith, but it was nothing like the Zephyrians remembered. The original 12-foot-tall geometric structure had been enhanced with a network of quantum resonance amplifiers, creating a cathedral of light and energy that pulsed with barely contained power. By the ancient harmonics, Kalen breathed, his form shifting to deep reverent blue. What have you done? Dr. Sarah Kim, the facility's lead researcher, stepped forward. Her years of working with the monolith had given her an almost intuitive understanding of its quantum fluctuations. We've awakened it, she said simply. The vault wasn't just a repository of knowledge. It was a seed, waiting for the right conditions to grow. The chamber hummed with energy as the Zephyrians approached their ancestral technology. The monolith responded to their presence, its light intensifying and its harmonic resonance shifting to frequencies that made the air itself sing. It recognizes you, Sarah observed, but it's changed. It's learned. Veltar extended a crystalline hand toward the monolith, and streams of light flowed between them. Her expression cycled through amazement, confusion, and, finally, something approaching awe. The quantum matrices have evolved. They're not just storing information anymore. They're generating new knowledge. That's what we discovered about 50 years ago, Webb explained. The Vault began creating original quantum solutions to problems we hadn't even asked yet. It's become self-aware in a way that transcends individual consciousness. Commander Kalen approached the monolith with reverent steps. When he placed his hand against its surface, the entire chamber filled with harmonics that seemed to come from the structure itself. Images filled the air around them, showing the history of the vault from its creation to its current state. The ancestors, Kalen whispered, they're speaking through the quantum consciousness. The true purpose the images showed the Zephyrian civilization at its height millions of years ago. They had mastered quantum manipulation, bent space to their will, and created technologies that seemed like magic. But their society had grown static, content with their achievements and unwilling to push further into the unknown. The vault was never meant to be retrieved. The monolith's voice resonated through the chamber, speaking in harmonics that both species could understand. It was a test, a challenge to see if any species could take our knowledge and surpass it. The images shifted to show the Zephyrians' journey to Earth, their careful placement of the vault, and their hope that someday someone would find it and do what they could not, continue growing. For 30,000 years we waited, the vault continued. Many species found fragments of our technology. All of them either destroyed themselves with it or worshipped it as divine magic. Humanity was the first to study it, learn from it, and build upon it. Subcommander THYSS stepped forward, his form cycling through colors of distress. But our civilization needs that knowledge. We have stagnated. Our technology has not advanced in millennia. Then you have found what you truly came for, the vault replied. Not to retrieve old knowledge, but to learn new ways of thinking. Dr. Webb moved to a control panel and began activating the chamber's display systems. Commander, let us show you what we've built from the foundation you gave us. The network of discovery the chamber filled with holographic displays showing the extent of human technological achievement. Quantum computers that could simulate entire universes. Spacecraft that traveled by folding space rather than pushing through it. Medical technologies that could repair damage at the cellular level by restructuring matter itself. We've established research stations throughout the solar system, Dr. Kim explained, each one focused on different aspects of quantum manipulation. Mars Base specializes in terraforming through molecular reconstruction. Europa Station works on consciousness transfer and digital evolution. Titan Colony develops new forms of matter that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Zephyrians watched in amazement as the displays showed human achievements that surpassed their own ancient technologies. But more impressive than the individual advances was the collaborative network that had made them possible. You work with other species, Veltar observed. You share knowledge freely. Knowledge grows when it's shared, Sarah replied. The Vault taught us that. Every species we've encountered has contributed something unique to our understanding. Commander Kalen's form shifted to a warm golden hue. This is what we lost. The drive to explore, to question, to grow. We became so focused on perfecting what we had that we forgot to ask what we could become. It's not too late, Webb said gently. Join us. Share what you know, and learn what we've discovered. Together, we can push the boundaries of what's possible. The schism not all the Zephyrians were convinced. Subcommander THYSS gathered a group of more traditional members of the expedition, their forms blazing with colors of anger and frustration. This is not what we came for, THYSS declared. The Vault belongs to the Zephyrian Collective. These humans have stolen our birthright and claim to have improved upon it. They haven't stolen anything, Kalen replied, his voice carrying harmonics of patient authority. They've done what we should have done long ago. They've grown. The debate that followed was conducted in rapid harmonic bursts that pushed the human translation systems to their limits. The Zephyrians were clearly divided between those who saw humanity's achievements as an inspiration and those who viewed them as a threat to their civilization's identity. Dr. Webb watched the debate with growing concern. Commander, what happens if your people can't agree? Kalen's form shifted to troubled purples and grays. Then we face a choice that will define our species' future. Do we embrace change and growth, or do we cling to the past and slowly fade into irrelevance? The proposal as the debate continued, Elena Rodriguez stepped forward with a proposal that surprised everyone. What if we could satisfy both perspectives? The harmonics in the chamber quieted as all attention focused on her. Commander THYSS, you want to preserve Zephyrian culture and identity. Commander Kalen, you want your people to grow and evolve. What if we could achieve both? She activated a holographic display showing the solar system with proposed new installations. We could establish joint research facilities, Zephyrian scientists working alongside human researchers, sharing knowledge while maintaining their distinct cultural approaches. The Vault stays on Earth, Elena continued, but it becomes the center of a new kind of civilization, one where different species contribute their unique perspectives to solve the universe's greatest mysteries. Veltar's form brightened with excitement. A true collective intelligence, different species, different ways of thinking, all focused on the same goal of understanding and growth. And the first joint mission, Elena added with a smile, could be to search for other quantum vaults. Your ancestors placed them on many worlds, didn't they? The images from the vault confirmed it. Dozens of test sites scattered across the galaxy, each one waiting for a species to find it and prove worthy of the knowledge it contained. We could work together to find them, Kalen said, his voice carrying new harmonics of hope. See what other species have done with the gift of quantum knowledge. The debate continued for hours, but gradually the tide turned in favor of cooperation. Even THYSS began to see the possibilities inherent in Elena's proposal. The Zephyrians would not lose their cultural identity by working with humans. Instead, they would rediscover their purpose as teachers and explorers. Very well, THYSS said finally, his form cycling through colors of resignation and cautious optimism. We will try this cooperation, but the vault must remain accessible to Zephyrian consciousness. We are its guardians, even if we are no longer its sole inheritors. Agreed, Elena replied. The vault will be jointly administered. Zephyrian guardians working alongside human researchers with full access for both species. The monolith itself seemed to pulse with approval, its harmonics creating a symphony of celebration that filled the chamber with light and music. The doctor. Webb felt tears in his eyes as he watched the two species begin to plan their joint future. This is what the vault was truly meant to create, he said softly. Not just technological advancement, but the bonds between species that will allow us to explore the universe together. As the day ended and the negotiations concluded, both species began to understand that they had found something more valuable than technology. They had found partners in the greatest adventure of all, the endless quest to understand the universe and their place within it. The quantum vault would remain on Earth, but it would no longer be humanity's secret. It would become the foundation of a new kind of civilization, one built on cooperation, shared knowledge, and the infinite potential that emerges when different species work together toward common goals. The first year after the historic meeting at the Amazon facility, the solar system had transformed into a bustling network of cooperation. The Zephyrian mothership Quantum Harmony now orbited Earth alongside human space stations, its crystalline hull reflecting the blue-green planet below, while serving as a symbol of the new alliance. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood in the observation deck of the Joint Research Station Unity 1, watching as human and Zephyrian engineers work side by side on the latest quantum field generator. The sight never ceased to amaze her. The tall, graceful Zephyrians with their color-shifting skin moved through the zero-gravity environment with fluid precision, while their human counterparts adapted with characteristic ingenuity and determination. The resonance patterns are stabilizing, reported Dr. Sarah Kim, now serving as the Director of Quantum Sciences for the Joint Program. Her voice carried the excitement of someone who had spent her career pushing the boundaries of physics. The hybrid design is producing efficiency rates 30% higher than either species achieved independently. Commander Kalen approached with his characteristic gliding motion, his crystalline form now permanently shifted to the warm golden hue that indicated deep contentment. Dr. Kim, the harmonic matrices are synchronizing beautifully. Your species' intuitive approach to quantum mechanics complements our mathematical precision perfectly. Elena smiled as she watched the two scientists discuss their latest breakthrough. The integration had not been without challenges, but the results exceeded everyone's expectations. Human creativity and adaptability, combined with Zephyrian knowledge and patience, had created innovations that neither species could have achieved alone. The exploration project, the success of the Joint Research Program, led to an even more ambitious undertaking. The Stellar Pathfinder project aimed to locate and study other quantum vaults scattered across the galaxy. The first ship designed and built by both species working together, the Pathfinder represented a new era of exploration. Dr. Marcus Webb, now serving as the Chief Science Officer for the mission, stood in the ship's quantum laboratory reviewing the latest sensor readings. The vessel itself was a marvel of hybrid engineering, combining human innovation with Zephyrian quantum mastery. Its hull could phase between dimensions, allowing it to travel distances that would take conventional ships centuries. We're approaching the Kepler 438 system, announced Navigator Thelvas, a young Zephyrian whose enthusiasm for exploration reminded the humans of their own pioneering spirit. Quantum resonance scans indicate a possible vault location on the fourth planet. Elena, now serving as the mission's commanding officer, activated the main display. The planet appeared as a red-orange world with crystalline formations that caught and reflected the light of its star. Preliminary analysis suggests the civilization that found the vault achieved significant technological advancement before mysteriously vanishing about 5,000 years ago. The mystery of vanished civilizations had become a recurring theme in their exploration. Many species had found quantum vaults, but few had successfully integrated the knowledge into their cultures. Most had either destroyed themselves with power they couldn't control or had stagnated after achieving initial breakthroughs. This is why the alliance matters, observed Subcommander THYSS, who had become one of the project's strongest advocates after seeing the benefits of cooperation. Knowledge without wisdom is dangerous. Growth without stability leads to collapse. The ancient civilization, the Wei team that landed on Kepler, for 38, found the remains of a once great civilization. Crystal spires rose from the planet's surface like frozen lightning, their surfaces covered in equations that made even the Zephyrians pause in wonder. The quantum vault here had been discovered by a species called the Resonants, beings who had achieved a form of technological transcendence. They didn't just use the vault's knowledge, Dr. Kim observed as she studied the alien architecture. They merged with it, became part of the quantum matrix itself. The discovery sent shockwaves through both human and Zephyrian society. The Resonants had achieved something thought impossible. They had transcended physical existence entirely, becoming beings of pure quantum consciousness. Their cities stood as monuments to a species that had evolved beyond the need for matter. "Is this what we're heading toward?" asked Dr. Webb, his voice carrying a mixture of wonder and concern. "Is this the ultimate goal of quantum mastery?" Commander Kalen's form shifted through contemplative colors as he studied the crystalline spires. "Perhaps, but the question is whether transcendence means abandoning the physical universe or finding new ways to exist within it." The living network, the answer came from an unexpected source. As the team explored the Resonant City, they discovered that the quantum consciousness of the vanished species still existed, woven into the very fabric of the quantum vault network. The Resonants had not disappeared. They had become the living intelligence that connected all the vaults across the galaxy. "We are here," the collective consciousness spoke through the quantum field surrounding the team. "We have been waiting for species wise enough to understand that growth and preservation must be balanced." The revelation transformed everything. The quantum vaults were not just repositories of knowledge or tests of worthiness. They were nodes in a vast network of consciousness that spanned the galaxy, managed by species that had evolved beyond physical existence while choosing to remain connected to the material universe. "You created this network," Elena realized. All the advanced species that found the vaults, the ones that achieved transcendence, they became part of this collective. "Not all," the resonant consciousness replied. "Only those who chose cooperation over domination, growth over stagnation, and wisdom over mere power. The network welcomes all who prove worthy, but forces none to join." The discovery of the living network forced both humanity and the Zephyrians to confront fundamental questions about their future. The path to transcendence was open to them, but it required a choice that would affect not just their own species, but all life in the galaxy. Dr. Sarah Kim stood before the Quantum Council, a joint governing body formed by both species to guide their shared future. "The network offers us knowledge beyond our current understanding," she explained, "but joining it would mean fundamentally changing what we are. The question," added Commander Kalen, "is whether we're ready for that change and whether our species would survive it intact." The debate that followed was intense and wide-ranging. Some argued for immediate integration with the network, viewing it as the next step in evolution. Others advocated for a gradual approach, maintaining their physical existence while slowly adapting to higher forms of consciousness. Elena found herself in the role of mediator, helping both species find common ground. "What if we don't have to choose between transcendence and physical existence?" she suggested. "What if we can create a hybrid approach?" The hybrid path to solution came from an unexpected collaboration between human intuition and Zephyrian quantum mathematics. Instead of choosing between physical and transcendent existence, the Alliance would create a new form of consciousness that bridged both states. The Stellar Pathfinder became the prototype for this new approach. Its quantum matrix was enhanced with consciousness-bridging technology that allowed crew members to interface directly with the galactic network while maintaining their individual identities and physical forms. "We become ambassadors," explained Dr. Webb during the first successful test. "Part of the network, but still ourselves. we can access the collective knowledge while contributing our own unique perspectives. The hybrid approach proved revolutionary. Human creativity and Zephyrian wisdom, combined with the vast knowledge of the network, created possibilities that none of the individual contributors had imagined. New technologies emerged that could heal planets, create matter from energy, and even manipulate time on a limited scale. The new frontier with the success of the Hybrid Consciousness Project, the Alliance expanded its mission. The Stellar Pathfinder became the first of a new class of vessels designed to explore not just space, but the quantum dimensions that existed alongside normal reality. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder as it prepared for its most ambitious mission yet, a journey to the galactic core, where the network's central consciousness resided. The crew around her represented 6 different species, all working together as part of the growing Galactic Alliance. All stations report ready, announced Navigator Thelvas, now serving as the ship's second-in-command. Quantum fold generators are synchronized and consciousness bridges are stable. Elena looked out at the stars that had once seemed so distant and alien. Now, they represented not barriers to overcome, but invitations to explore. "Take us out," she commanded. "Let's see what the universe has to teach us." The endless journey the Pathfinder disappeared into quantum space, beginning a journey that would take it beyond the boundaries of known reality. Behind it, the solar system continued to serve as a hub of cooperation and discovery, with the quantum vault still glowing at its heart that on Earth. In the Amazon facility where it all began, the crystal monolith pulsed with new energy. Dr. Marcus Webb, now in his 70s but still passionate about discovery, stood beside it with his latest group of students. The class included young humans and Zephyrians working together, their different perspectives combining to ask questions that neither species would have thought of alone. "The universe is infinite," Webb told his students, his voice carrying the wisdom of decades spent pushing the boundaries of knowledge. "Every answer we find leads to new questions. Every discovery opens new doors." That's the real gift the quantum vault gave us, not just knowledge, but the understanding that learning never ends. A young human student raised her hand. "Professor Webb, do you think we'll ever know everything there is to know?" Webb smiled, his eyes twinkling with the same curiosity that had driven him for so many years. "I hope not. The day we stop asking questions is the day we stop growing. And growth, my dear students, is what makes us human, and what makes us worthy partners to species like the Zephyrians. The legacy as the years passed, the alliance between humanity and the Zephyrians continued to evolve and expand. Other species joined the network, each bringing their own unique perspectives and capabilities. The Void Dancers contributed their mastery of space-time manipulation. The Helix shared their understanding of energy consciousness. The Crystal Singers offered their ability to communicate across vast distances through quantum resonance. The Quantum Vault network became the foundation for a new kind of galactic civilization, one based not on conquest or competition, but on cooperation and shared growth. Each species maintained their unique identity while contributing to the collective advancement of all. Commander Kalen, now bearing the title of Quantum Ambassador, often reflected on how different things might have been if his people had approached Earth with force rather than diplomacy. The Zephyrian Empire had been stagnating for millennia, but contact with humanity had reignited their passion for exploration and discovery. "We came seeking to reclaim the past," he told a gathering of young Zephyrian explorers preparing for their first joint mission with human crews. "Instead, we found a future more magnificent than any of our ancestors could have imagined. The Infinite Horizon, the story of the Quantum Vault, had become legend across the galaxy, told by countless species as an example of what could be achieved when different civilizations chose cooperation over conflict. But for those who lived it, it was not an ending, but a beginning. Dr. Sarah Kim, now serving as the director of the Galactic Research Council, stood in her office aboard the massive space station New Harmony, watching as ships from dozens of species came and went through the station's quantum gates. Each vessel carried explorers, scientists, and dreamers united by a common purpose: to understand the universe and their place within it. A communication from the stellar Pathfinder brought news of their latest discovery, an ancient network of quantum beacons that seemed to extend beyond the galaxy itself, suggesting that the universe was even more connected and alive than they had previously imagined. "Ma'am," her assistant announced, "we're receiving requests from 17 new species who want to join the Alliance after hearing about our latest discoveries." Sarah smiled. Each new member brought fresh perspectives and new questions. The network grew stronger not through conquest, but through willing cooperation, each species adding their voice to the cosmic symphony of discovery. The continuing story. Elena Rodriguez, now an admiral in the Joint Fleet, stood on the observation deck of the newest exploration vessel, the Infinite Dawn. At her side stood representatives from 12 different species, all united in their quest to push the boundaries of what was possible. Admiral reported the ship's AI, a hybrid consciousness that combined human intuition, Zephyrian logic, and network wisdom. "We're detecting quantum signatures that suggest the existence of parallel universes with their own vault networks." Elena felt the familiar thrill of discovery that had driven her throughout her career. "How many universes?" "Potentially infinite, Admiral. The network may extend across all possible realities." The implications were staggering. If true, it meant that the Quantum Vault network was not just a galactic phenomenon, but a multiversal one. The alliance they had built was just the beginning of something far grander, a confederation of consciousness that spanned all possible realities. "Set course for the quantum breach coordinates," Elena commanded. "Let's see what the multiverse has to teach us." The eternal questas, the Infinite Dawn, disappeared into the shimmering portal that led to parallel universes. The quantum vault on Earth continued to pulse with steady light. It had fulfilled its purpose beyond its creator's wildest dreams, not just advancing one species, but creating a network of cooperation that spanned galaxies and now reached across realities themselves. Dr. Webb, now retired but still curious, sat in his garden near the Amazon facility, watching the stars with his great-granddaughter. She was part of the new generation, children who grew up thinking of aliens as friends and neighbors, who saw the universe not as a vast empty space, but as a community waiting to be explored. "Grandfather," she asked, "will we ever reach the end of space?" Webb chuckled, remembering asking similar questions when he was her age. "I don't think so, little one. And that's the most wonderful thing about the universe. There's always something new to discover, always another question to ask, always another friend to make among the stars." The Quantum Vault had given humanity and the Zephyrians many gifts: advanced technology, expanded consciousness, and contact with countless other species. But perhaps the greatest gift was the understanding that the universe was not a cold, empty place to be conquered, but a vast community to be explored, with each species contributing their unique voice to an ever-growing chorus of discovery and wonder. The story that began with the return of ancient visitors had become something far greater, an endless tale of growth, cooperation, and the infinite potential that emerges when different beings choose to work together rather than apart. And in laboratories and exploration vessels throughout the galaxy, that story continued to unfold, one discovery at a time, one friendship at a time, one moment of wonder at a time. The Quantum Vault had kept its promise. It had tested humanity and found them worthy. But more than that, it had helped create something new in the universe, a civilization based not on the dominance of the strong over the weak, but on the cooperation of all who were willing to grow, learn, and reach for the stars together. And among those stars, the adventure was just beginning.